Okay guys, I'm back. So this week we have covered quite a lot of information. We talked about visualizing it, what it means to visualize, right? To create a picture in your head as you're reading to help you understand. We talked about the suffix ed. So when a word ends in ed, it's talking about, when a verb ends in ed, it's talking about a past tense. So that happened in past tense. We talked about the three different signs that sounds that ed makes. Sorry, I'm going a little crazy. We also talked about biography and autobiography and what that is. Remember, biography is when you're writing someone else's story or when someone else is writing someone else's story. And autobiography is when that own person is writing their own story. So hopefully you did your assignment last night because that was a part of your assignment. Today we're going to be talking about author's purpose and kind of figure out why the author wrote this book, right? So what was the purpose of this book? Remember, authors don't just put pictures in just to put pictures in or put headings in just to put headings in. Authors always have a purpose for something. There's always a reason behind it, always. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we do that, I want to just go and highlight some of the words that end in ed. Just because we are going to be looking at those words next week when we introduce a different skill. It's still going to be ed, looking at the suffix ed, but using it in a different way. Okay, so let's go look. So your assignment was to read page 11 through, I believe, 13. Yes. And so let's go look really quick. Off the top of my head, I can see one here. Created. And if I miss some, sorry. Oh, we've seen this one before. Painted. Ooh, supported. I like that one. Saved. Included. And let's go look if there's any on the last page. We see created again. And I think that is, invented. Now I think that's it. So again, there's three different ways you can sound this, three different sounds ed makes, and they all make a word past tense. Okay, so going into our lesson today, talking about author's purpose. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar, and if you're not, I'm sure you'll hear it. The word pied or pie. You probably heard of pie, but not pied. Today I'm going to teach you pied. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So this is what I mean. You probably have heard of pie, P-I-E. So what the P stands for is to persuade. So persuade. What persuade means is that was the author trying to convince you to like something or to do something, right? Did the author persuade you to paint? Did the author say, did she say, oh, you need to paint. If you don't paint, you're going to be a horrible person, right? She didn't say that. She didn't try to persuade you. Usually when you think of persuading, you think of like a commercial. A commercial tries to persuade you to buy something, right? It makes everything sound so great and so amazing, right? And I can tell you the bad things. They're going to tell you the great things, right? That's what the persuade stands for. The I stands for inform. Inform means they're letting you know about someone's life or a moment in their life, or they're giving you information about sharks or information about a sinkhole, right? Entertain is more of like a story, okay? They're telling you the story so that you're like, oh, wow. Entertainment is what movies are. So entertain is like a movie. It can be like The Trolls or something, right? It's more of a story. Entertain usually has characters in it. So let me write that in there. So I wrote it here in my beautiful handwriting. I wrote, okay, persuade is to convinces you to do or like or dislike things. Information gives you, inform is to gives you information. Entertain usually has character, problem, and a solution. Okay, which is something that you probably have heard of these three before. Something that's new in 4th grade is the ED, so pied. And let me tell you what the E and the D stand for. Now, the second E stands for explain. Okay, so the second E stands for explain. Okay, and explain gives you steps. So say, it's probably like a book that's giving you steps on how to paint. First, you're going to get a canvas. Then you're going to get brushes. Then you're going to figure out what you're going to paint, right? So that's explaining is more like steps. Think of like explain like baking, like recipes, right? Step by step. And then the D, the D stands for describe. And it cut off my beautiful handwriting. The D stands for describe. It describes things using the senses, like how something tastes, how it smells, what it sounds like, how it feels, and then what it looks like. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky because I feel in the book that they do a lot of describing, like especially because describing is art. So I feel like it does that. So I think I'm stuck between either, because she's not persuading us to paint, right? Although you might want to paint after you read this. She's not persuading us. The author is not telling us you need to paint right now. She's not saying that. Okay? She's giving us information about Vince van Gogh's life. She's not telling us a story. We don't have characters. Vince van Gogh is not a character. There's not a problem. There's not a solution. So that's not it. And it's not explaining us, giving us steps on how to paint, right? But it does describe in detail. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky between inform and describe. For your activity today, I would like you to read page 14 through 19 and really think about what the author is trying to do. Okay? After you finish reading page 14 through 19, you will actually be done reading the book, and you'll be able to answer comprehension questions on the book. What I mean by that is you'll be able to answer questions to see if you understood what you read. Now again, the strategy we used was to visualize. Did you visualize those things to help you explain? Now, this week's a little bit different because I haven't used Google Forms, but your activity will actually be a Google Form assignment. And it'll look like this. Okay? You'll click on the link, you'll type in your first name and your last name, and then you'll answer these questions. So the first question is, this book is mainly about. Okay, so what was it mainly about? How to paint a bedroom, a place to go learn to paint, an artist who painted colorful pictures, one way to create very interesting paintings. From this book, you can tell the author lived near where Vince van Gogh lived, thought highly of Vince van Gogh's paintings, so that just means they thought good things about them, would like to get rid of all of Vince van Gogh's paintings, would like Vince van Gogh to have painted her living room. Okay? The author mainly wrote this book to inform the reader about Vince van Gogh's brother, tell the story of Vince van Gogh's whole life, persuade the reader to like Vince van Gogh, inform the reader about what influenced Vince van Gogh to paint. Why did the author likely only focus this book on a small period of Vincent's life? The period was one of the most interesting parts of Vincent's life. The rest of Vincent's life was boring. Vincent's life lived a short life. The author didn't know what else to write about. Okay, and then I would like you to answer, and all you do is click on the answer that you think is right, and then that's it. And then it says, did you enjoy reading this book? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Did this book remind you of another book you have read? So I want you to make sure you write incomplete sentences down here. Okay, then when you're done, you're going to go up to the top corner, and it should say send. So right here in the corner it says send, and you'll just send it, and then it will submit it to me, and I will see all of your answer choices. Okay, so again, you're reading page 14 through 19, and then you're answering the Google form, and then we'll be done with this book. I can't wait to meet with you guys next week. I'll talk to you then. Bye!